Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 368th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Just to say, I'm just getting over a nasty cold at the moment, as you might notice in my voice. In fact, I didn't know whether I'd be able to do a battle video today because my voice has been so bad, but hopefully it'll be okay, and I hope you can bear with me on this. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Legion 22, who has bought the Rome Brutio faction. And I see he's got 12 infantry and 2 archers and 6 cavalry. As I say, newer players to Rome Total War, I know you like to see our army build, so just have a look at the upgrades of his cavalry. I see he's got 7 upgrades, so he's got an experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry. So that's quite a nice balanced army there. As I say, 12 infantry, 2 archers, 6 cavalry. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member JGP, who has bought the Rome SBQR faction. I think he's got 13 infantry and 1 archer unit. So that's quite good there. 13 infantry, 1 archer unit, and 6 cavalry. Let's just have a quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry. And as you can see, he's got 7 upgrades. So he's got an experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry there. So that's a pretty good balanced army there. Our next teammate is Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks, who has bought the Rome SBQR faction, and I see that he's only got 10 infantry, just 10 infantry and 4 archers. So 10 infantry is a small amount of infantry to bring on the modern day battlefield. I see he's got his general, infantry general there, and he's also got an eagle unit, so he's got 2 lots of morale for his infantry there. If you notice, no upgrades on his eagle unit there. And I think I noticed there's an urban cohort unit as well, with no upgrades on behind as well, which I'm presuming is going to be one of the pilot shield units there. It's unusual though to bring herb cohorts without any upgrades on. So let's say 10 infantry, 4 archers. I see his archers have got 6 upgrades on, so they've got a gold shield, gold attack on his archers, and I see he's got 6 cavalry. So a quick look at the upgrades on his cavalry. And yes, he got 7 upgrades. So he's got an experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack on his cavalry there. So that's an unusual army there. As I say, 10 infantry on the modern day battlefield. Be interesting to see how well it does against good players. Okay, our next teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who's bought his old army of 12 infantry and 6 cavalry. Remember, this is a very, very old army. I think I might have built this one 10, 11 years ago or so, but it still seems to do well on a modern day battlefield. So there's our team there, but you wait till you see the other team. It's got the ingredients to be a great battle, and I hope you enjoy it. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Mad King, who has bought the Carthage faction. I think that he's got 12 units of spearmen there. So a quick look, and the upgrades on those spearmen are 8 upgrades. So he's got 2 experienced stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Now we know from watching other battle videos that the Carthage Sacred Band are really good troops, but with that high upgrades on, 8 upgrades, that makes them super good. So it'll be interesting to see how well they do during the course of the battle. And just to draw your attention here to Carthage Town Militia. A very little used unit in the 31k battlefield, but the way he's got it spread out there is obviously going to be his pilot shield unit there. So it'll be interesting to see how well that does. I think he's only got about 2 or 3 upgrades on that unit though. And have a look at his cavalry. So he's got 5 Sacred Band cavalry. And the upgrades are just 6 upgrades, so that's just gold shield, gold attack on those cavalry there. But Sacred Band cavalry is pretty good. And I see he's got 2 Balearic slingers. Yes, have a quick look at those Balearics there. Can you see the pouch that they wear, which carries their slingshots? These guys got quite good long range and seem to have lots and lots of ammunition. And I see he's got 3 upgrades on. My guess it's 3 attack there. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Trajan, who's bought the Rome Julio faction. I think he's got 11 infantry there. I think he's got 11 units of infantry. And he's got 3 archer units and 6 cavalry. Let's have a quick look at the upgrades on his infantry. I see he's got 6 upgrades, so he's just got gold shield, gold attack on his infantry there. I see he's got 3 archer units. I see he's got 3 upgrades, so I'm thinking probably a gold attack there, and 6 cavalry. And the upgrades on his cavalry, yeah, serious cavalry there. 8 upgrades. So that's 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Now remember, Praetorian cavalry are already elite cavalry, so with 2 experience stripes and those upgrades on them, that kind of makes them super elite cavalry. So watch out for them during the course of the battle. They could make the difference. Maybe that might be the pivotal part of the battle they're using them. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member Bark, who has bought the Seleucid faction. I think he got something like 12 infantry there. Let's have a look at his pilot shield unit there. You can see he got 6 upgrades. So he's got gold shield, gold attack on his pilot shield units. And as we move back further into the ranks there, I think it's mostly all gold shield, gold attack. And if you notice there, he's got a silver shield legionnaire as his general there. Now I think his other units at the rear there was 7 upgrades, so he's got an experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack. But as I say, he's got a silver shield legionnaire as his general, and I think I spotted it had 6 upgrades. So that's his gold shield, gold attack on there, 2 archer units, and he's got 4 cavalry. So have a look at the upgrades. Okay, so he's got 8 upgrades. That's 2 experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. And remember that we call these Seleucid cataphracts the tanks of the ancient world, and that's because they're armoured from head to toe. And used correctly, these can be battle-winning troops. They've got a massive, something like 28 or 29 defence with those upgrades on, so they are difficult to kill. And I see he's got 2 chariots there, scythe chariots. Now, these can be a mixed blessing. I see he's only got 2 upgrades on these chariots. And they've got really high attacking specifications. They bring a massive fear factor, but they do run amok. And like we said in other battle videos, it's a double-edged sword, because if they run amok, they kill both friend and foe alike. And they seem to be even stronger when they run amok than what they are in a normal mode. So they do more damage in amok, killing friend and foe alike. So it'll be interesting to see how well they do. And their 4th teammate is Brotherhood member Aurelius, who has bought the Rome Julio faction. And I think Aurelius has got, I think he's got the bog standard 14 infantry and 6 cavalry. But I notice he's got 2 eagle units as well as his general infantry unit there. So there's the enemy team there. And I notice his cavalry's got 7 upgrades. So he's got an experienced stripe, gold shield, gold attack. So there's the other team. Should be a great one for you to watch. At this stage of the battle, I'd just like to draw your attention to, this really is an old versus a new type of battle here. The 4 of us on this side of the team are all RTW veterans, you know, and we've played for years and years and years, but we are only weekend warriors now. We only play for a couple of hours on a Friday and a couple of hours on a Saturday. So it'd be interesting to see how the old is, if you like, do against the newer, upcoming, really good players of RTW, Brotherhood members here. As I say, these players are newer to RTW in comparison to us, but they are really good modern day players. So I'd be interested to see how the old is, if you like, the weekend warriors of RTW get on against the newer upcoming players. Okay, at this stage of the battle, you can see Mad King has advanced his Balearic slingers forward here to take on Legion archers. There's a little bit of missile exchange going on between the 2 of them. But you can see both Steve Longshanks and Legion 22 advancing towards the enemy team here. Now this pilot shield unit, that town militia unit there of Carthage, my guess is that Legion might even bypass them so that he can throw his expensive pilots into the main battle line of Carthage. Just have to wait and see there. If you notice there, a lot of his pilots, I think, have gone over the head of that pilot shield unit there, so that he can inflict casualties on the heavily upgraded Carthage Sacred Band and kind of bypass that pilot shield unit. In fact, my guess is, yep, he's going to charge forward to engage that militia unit there, take it out, so that he can then throw his pilots into the main Carthage battle line there. Okay, now remember, those Carthage Sacred Band had 8 upgrades on, so to throw in loads of pilots are going to kill a lot of them before they even get into the hand-to-hand fighting. So that's a nice tactic there by Legion 22. Cause a lot of casualties to the Carthage Sacred Band units before they even get into hand-to-hand combat. Nice tactical move. Let's just pause the game for a second. So as I say here, Legion just throwing all his pilots into that main Carthage battle line there, causing as many casualties as he can before he actually gets into a hand-to-hand battle with them. I noticed it was a really good move how he took out that militia unit at the front of their army, so that he could concentrate on their main battle line there. Now remember, those Carthage Sacred Band have got 8 upgrades on. That's 2 experience, stripe, gold shield, gold attack. Right, if you can see here, Legion 22's cavalry, backed up by, I think, JGP's cavalry, or maybe Steve Longshank's SBQR cavalry there, doing a right attacking movement here, trying to take out those Balearic slingers. Nice aggressive action there by Legion. As I say, backed up, I think it's by Steve Longshank's SBQR units there, cavalry units. So we got a lot of cavalry on this flank here. Okay, so as you can see here, we've taken out one of the Balearic Slinger units there, and we're looking to take out that other Balearic Slinger unit there as well. I think we've got 12 cavalry units here trying to cause a bit of mischief on our right flank against the enemy troops. Meanwhile here, as you can see, the Carthage Sacred Band took so many casualties from Pilas, it kind of forced them into attack. Well, maybe they didn't want to, but they're now forced to attack there because they were suffering so many casualties by Pilas. Over here on our left flank, you can see I'm facing the enemy Julii Aurelius' team there. Not a lot going on there over on our left flank. But over here on the right flank seems to be the flash point, the kicking off point, if you like, of the battle. I can see some of the Seleucid pike units running over here. Right, can you see the Sacred Band? The enemy Sacred Band cavalry has now attacked Steve Longshank's cavalry. My guess is that the enemy Julii cavalry is going to charge in as well. You've got the our Brutii ally charging in as well. And as that Julii cavalry hits, bang! As that cavalry hits, there's a massive cavalry battle going on here. Now I notice here that Legion 22 decided to pull this Brutii cavalry out of the fray there, because you can see the Seleucid pikemen coming in. You can see the Julii cavalry hitting, plus we've got the Sacred Band cavalry hitting there as well. So Steve's cavalry here suffering a lot of casualties, and it wouldn't surprise me if most of them routed there. Okay, you can see all that Seleucid pike units just come over as well. Right, can you see that most of Steve's SBQR cavalry has now been routed by the enemy cavalry and infantry hit there on our right flank. So that's not so good for us on the right flank there. I think we've inflicted a lot of casualties on the enemy there, but for most of Steve's cavalry to have been routed, not so good for our team. Say here, you can see that the Julii, our SBQR ally there, has charged cavalry into the enemy Julii infantry there, because Trajan's cavalry is over on our right flank. And JGP spotted that, so he knew he could charge his cavalry in without any counter-attack by enemy cavalry, because, as I say, the Julii cavalry are over on our right flank. Meanwhile, over on our left flank here, you can see there's not a lot going on, but a lot of enemy cavalry here on our left flank. As I say, apologies for my voice. As I say, it's just trying to get over this nasty cold at the moment. Okay, as you can see here, one of Steve's SBQR cavalry units has rallied and come back into the fray, but Legion 22's cavalry is doing a lot of damage to the enemy troops here over on our right flank. Can you see Mad King sending his Carthage general unit forward there against the our allies' Brutii cavalry there? Nice aggressive move there by the Carthage general. But meanwhile, a lot of the Carthage troops here are engaged heavily with our allies' Brutii infantry and some of our allies' SBQR infantry. See that SBQR cavalry charging, which surprised me. It's routed a lot of the Carthage cavalry. As that cavalry hits, bang! As that cavalry smashes into those engaged Carthage Sacred Band. And if you notice, there's one hit has routed a lot of those Carthage Sacred Band infantry units there. That was a nice tactical hit there, I think, by JGP's cavalry, smashing into those engaged infantry spear units there. And as you can see, took out a lot of those Carthage Sacred Band units there. You can see Legion 22's cavalry charging in, looking to try and take out that Carthage Sacred Band general there. But also, I'd like to draw your attention on our right flank to that Seleucid pike army there coming in on our right flank. Right, see Legion 22 charging in, decided to pull back when he saw the enemy Julii cavalry coming in, plus all those Seleucid pikemen coming in on the right flank as well. So nice tactical withdrawal there by Legion 22 using his cavalry there. As you can see here on our right flank, we've got a lot of pressure on our right flank with all those Seleucid pikemen, those Julii infantry and cavalry hitting us here on the right flank. Just pause the game for a second. So I say our right flank here is in a very, how can I say, precarious or delicate situation here. Our right flank could be broken here by the enemy forces that are there. All those Seleucid pikemen plus the Julii infantry and cavalry. If you notice, I've moved my Scipii infantry over from the left flank over to this right flank here to try and shore up our right flank here against what could be a roll-up tactic here by the enemy, who may try rolling us up from right to left. So that's why I've moved my infantry from our left flank over to our right flank here, looking to try and engage these Seleucid pike units here and stop them from trying to roll us up from right to left. Okay, what I would like to do here is try and engage, hold those Seleucid pikemen with my forward units, while I take some of my rear infantry units around the flank of those Seleucid pikemen. And remember what we've seen in other battle videos, no Roman general likes to take pike or spear units on head on unless they've got a plan. My plan here, pause again for a second, my plan here is to try and hold those Seleucid pikemen with my forward units as much as I can. Remember, those pikes are very long. Remember, we got to fight all our way down those pikes to kill the man on the other end. So what I'm going to do is try and hold those pikes with the bulk of my infantry, while I take units around the flank to either get in around the flank, or better still, get in around the rear of those pike units there. That's the plan I'd like to do if I could. And say take units around the flank and rear of those Seleucid pikemen. Meanwhile, over here you can see a lot of the Julii cavalry, infantry and Carthage sacred band pushing in on our Brutii ally. And meanwhile, over on our left flank here, you can see that JGP, our ally, is heavily engaged with the enemy Julii troops there. But you can see there's a lot of enemy cavalry, both Seleucid cavalry and Julii cavalry out there to our left flank, ready to charge in. If you notice, I've got my Scipii cavalry there and our SPQ, our cavalry there, ready to counter any charge by them. I notice here Legion 22 is taking his cavalry around the flank of the enemy. My guess is to try and get in behind the engaged enemy cavalry there and smash into the rear of those engaged infantry, and take them out. But as you can see here, the Seleucid general has been very aggressive here, advances with his pikemen into my infantry. But as I say, I want to try and hold those Seleucid pikemen while I get units in behind them if I can. Right, just pause again for a second. So as I say, I'm going to try and work around the flanks if I can of those Seleucid pikemen, try and get in behind. My guess is that Legion is going to take his cavalry round behind and try and smash into the back of those engaged Seleucid pikemen. Try and take out that hit may well rout a lot of those pikemen there. You see Steve Longshanks here engaging some Julii units as an enemy Carthage units there. But over on our left flank it looks a bit delicate to me, because you can see all that enemy cavalry just about to hit our SPQ or ally. Plus, if you see all that enemy Julii infantry there as well. Right, see that Seleucid cavalry charging into our SPQ or ally, and bang! As that cavalry hits. Now see the enemy Julii cavalry going in, and bang! As that hits as well, smashing into our SPQ or ally there. Right, can you see I've got my Scipii cavalry out there trying to counterattack, but with that cavalry, massive cavalry and infantry hit there, most of our allies' SPQ units have been routed on our left flank. Okay, so our left flank is looking like it's been broken. Okay, our left flank looks like it's been broken here. You can see over on our right flank there, we're engaged against a Seleucid infantry and the enemy Julii and Carthage sacred band. Right, can you see Legion 22 looking to charge his Brutii cavalry in, but the Seleucid general has turned a pike unit to face his cavalry there, so he wisely retreats his cavalry. Remember, every pike and spear unit on RTW has an anti-cavalry bonus. Right, I'd just like to draw your attention. Can you see I'm holding those Seleucid pikemen at the front as I wanted to with my original plan, while I take infantry round behind them here, okay? So what I'd like to do is get behind them on both flanks if I could, but I'm being held up on the other flank by enemy Carthage and Julii troops there. Now, if you notice here at the rear, can you see the enemy chariots coming in behind us? Trying to come in behind us there. Just had a little drink there, try and smooth my voice out a bit. But over here on our left flank, you can see I've pulled my Scipii cavalry back. I can see all my allies have been routed here on our left flank. And make no mistake, the enemy will now look to roll us up from left to right. Okay, make no mistake about this. The enemy Julii infantry and cavalry
and that Seleucid cavalry there, supposed to go for a second, have now routed our SPQ, our ally there, including his general, and the enemy now have broken our left flank. So our left flank has now been broken. Okay, and the enemy will look to roll us up from left to right. If you just look at the numbers here on our left flank, see how many enemy Julii infantry and cavalry, and the Seleucid cavalry there, loads of them there. Meanwhile, over on our right flank here, you can see the chariots here that came in behind us. If you notice, I'm trying to engage them with my cavalry to try and, if you like, neutralise their attack, but they're smashing into the rear of our allies' infantry there. There's a close-up of my cavalry fighting them. Can you see one of my cavalry horses there have been turned upside down by that scythed cavalry unit there. You can see a lot of my cavalry being killed there by those scythed chariots. But I'm still going to charge in to try and neutralise their effect on our allies. Okay, remember, all team games is just that, team battles. Sometimes you've got to sacrifice some things to help the team. Right, if you notice here, I've surrounded those Seleucid, basically surrounded those Seleucid pikemen there. Notice their morale is very low. Defeat is a certainty. So we could start a mass rout here. If you notice, Legion 22's Brutii cavalry in behind the enemy team there. Probably looking to smash into the rear of them there. But as I say, our left flank has been broken here, and as I said earlier, the enemy will look to roll us up from left to right. Okay, we just killed the Carthage general, which is good news for us. But as I say, if those enemy troops start moving quickly on our left, they will roll us up from left to right. Right, if you notice here, I've basically surrounded those Seleucid pikemen as I wanted to do. As we know, Seleucid morale is not very good anyway. And then being surrounded and attacked from all sides will probably cause a mass rout. Okay, can you see the Seleucid pikemen now have been basically mass routed? Okay, which is what we wanted to do. So all those Seleucid pikemen now have been routed. So that was a nice movement by our team there to do that. There's a Julii cavalry charging, and bang, as those Julii cavalry charge into one of my Scipii units. If you notice there, I've got my Scipii cavalry looking to charge in. Plus we got our Brutii allies cavalry looking to charge in as well. Bang, as that Brutii cavalry hits, and bang, as my Scipii cavalry hits into those enemy units there. Nice combination cavalry hit there by both Legion and myself. Right, as I say, over on our left flank here, you can see, it's paused the game for a second, you can see the enemy are really trying to push in here on our left flank. They got cavalry in behind us. Enemy Julii cavalry in behind us here, looking to take out our Brutii allies archers that have been shooting into the enemy all game. And as I say, you can see the enemy Julii infantry attacking Steve Longshanks, his SPQR infantry there. There's lots of enemy cavalry still left out there as well. So remember, the enemy are the red and the green and Seleucid. Okay, so the enemy are the red, the red and Seleucid there. Our team are the purple SPQR, the green Brutii, and the blue Scipii. Right, see Legion 22's cavalry charging in, and bang, as he charges into those enemy Julii units there. Plus I've got my Scipii cavalry charging as well. Bang, as my Scipii cavalry hits those enemy Julii cavalry. There's a massive cavalry battle going on at the back here. Okay, between our Brutii and Scipii ally and the enemy Julii cavalry there. So that's a massive cavalry battle. Maybe whoever wins this could go on to win the battle. Maybe this is a pivotal, decisive part of the battle here. There's a close-up of the cavalry fighting. Notice they're both using heavy swords, a lot more effective than the light lances. Okay, so they've both alt-attacked there with their heavy swords. See some battle damage. Scipii cavalry of mine charging into the rear of those enemy Julii cavalry. Bang, as they hit. Just managing to rout that Julii cavalry. But as you can see here, a lot of Julii infantry still pushing, still attacking. Oh yeah, see that Seleucid cavalry going in, and bang, as that Seleucid cavalry smashes into us there. A lot of enemy troops here pushing in on us on that left flank. See some more Julii cavalry charging in, and bang, as that Julii cavalry smashes in. Once again, you can see here, see Legion 22's cavalry charging in, and bang, as that cavalry smashes in.
As I say, that cavalry battle behind us could have been pivotal to the outcome of the battle. Can you see I've got some of my Scipio cavalry in there as well? Let's just pause the game for a second. So I've got some battle damage Scipio cavalry. I'm charging into that enemy Seleucid cavalry there. But if you notice that Legion 22's Brutii cavalry are engaged against those Seleucid cavalry. But as you can see here, the enemy red Julii army here are really pushing in on us here. Remember, the enemy are the red and Seleucid. We are the purple, green and blue. Okay, so at a glance you can see the enemy numbers here pushing in on us all the time. Okay, especially that Seleucid pikemen have rallied. A lot of those pikemen have rallied there and come back into the fray. Well, I'm just thinking here, Legion 22's cavalry plus my battle damage Scipio cavalry here, maybe that could make the difference here towards the end. So as you can see here, at just a glance, there's a heck of a lot of enemy Scipio troops that are pushing in on us. And there's some more Julii cavalry coming over to our flank here, probably looking to engage our cavalry themselves.
Your allies need to learn the value of decimation.
I noticed with my Scipio infantry, I've been in a defensive mode for a while, but I'm now starting to attack with my Scipio infantry, as well as my cavalry charging again. Let's see my Scipio cavalry charging again. Very battle damage there. But remember, Legion still got a lot of his cavalry left. That could prove pivotal and decisive to the outcome of this battle. That was a nice cavalry hit there by the red Julii General Trajan there. But you can see there's a lot of enemy troops pressing in on us. But as I say, with my Scipio infantry, I've turned from defensive to attack here. See, the enemy missile troops here have been shooting slingshots and arrows into us all battle here, causing casualties, lowering our morale. But as I say here, you can see that the enemy are really pressing in on us there. A lot of the enemy troops just pressing in on us. As I say, my Scipio infantry for a long while were defensive, but I've now turned that into attack, and I'm now attacking the enemy team. I'm just hoping that Legion can maybe get his cavalry in behind the engaged enemy troops and smash into the rear of them. That would give us a big advantage there. Notice Steve here moving some archer units and infantry units looking to get around the left flank of the enemy here. He can always attack with his archer units, but as I say here, we are pretty hard pressed to hold here at the moment. A lot of the enemy team pushing in. But as I say, if you notice up at the top of the picture there, you can see Legion 22's Brutii cavalry moving in behind the enemy team. They're all exhausted, so their attack specifications will be massively lowered when you're exhausted. But as I say, you can see that Steve is moving some SPQR units around the flank of the enemy team here, and we're starting to push in on the tired enemy troops. Okay. If you notice, a lot of the enemy Julii troops are starting to rout here. At the rear of the battle here, can you see that Legion 22 is taking on some Julii infantry and cavalry at the back there? But if you notice here, a heck of a lot of the enemy Julii troops are now routing, including the Julii General there. So at this stage of the battle, it looks like our team has managed to have gone on and won this part of the battle. There's still a lot of enemy cavalry, be it battle damage, but still enemy cavalry, and I think he's got some archers there that he's auto-attacking with as well. But I think for all intents and purposes here, we have managed to go on to win the battle there. I see the Seleucid general still alive there. Can you see that Julii cavalry charging into my general unit, and bang, as that Julii cavalry hits, trying to take out my general there. But remember, most of my infantry have got an experienced stripe on, so they're going to hold right down to the last few men there. So trying to take out my general with battle damage cavalry and battle damage infantry, probably not going to do it. If you notice, we're all bringing reinforcements over to this side of the battlefield now. If you look over the battlefield from one side to the other, you can see how intense this battle has been. Let's say our team has just managed to win this battle there. As you can see, it was a close victory there. As you saw the battle there, you could see it was going to go either way there.
It was a close victory. I'd just like to draw your attention to the oldest army on the battlefield here and the smallest army. So you've only got 1,309 troops there, the smallest army on the battlefield, but I managed to scrape in the highest kills. So newer players to Rome Total War, maybe it's not the size of the army that you bring, but it's how you use it in combination with your allies that gets you good kills. Remember, the higher kills that you can get, then obviously that's going to help your team to win. So so I'm pleased there with that old army that might be 10 or 11 years old, managed to get the highest kills. If you look at Steve, JGP and Legion, they did good too. JGP possibly didn't get the kills that he wanted to, but look at the enemy kills, all good, all over 1,000 kills each. So really well done to them. Just to have a look at the battle statistics of my army there. You notice a lot of my infantry units did really well there. If you look at the casualties this is Spain, can you see that one unit got 68 casualties, but they killed 246 enemy troops there. Cavalry, I thought a little bit disappointed there by their kills, but it was mostly my infantry that did most of the damage there, and that was mostly killing those Seleucid infantry. So really well done to the enemy team, Mad King, Trajan, Barak and Aurelius. Well done, guys. Great Brotherhood display there, well done. And really well done to Brotherhood members Steve Longshanks, JGP and Legion 22. Some great counter-attacks, some great supporting tactics there as well. So really well done, guys. As I say, this was an old versus the new here. Steve Longshanks, JGP, Legion, myself, been playing for years against really good up-and-coming players. So Spartan Commanders, I hope you enjoyed the battle. Bye for now.